I want to talk about my salary, Alex. Over the past 6 months,
The beyond her wildest dreams of what she could expect is that's when you need to ask.
Salary negotiations. Most people hate them, mess them up, or avoid them entirely. But with living costs still climbing, getting paid properly isn't optional anymore. Today, how to ask for more money without putting a bomb under your career.
Let's cut to it. The cost of living crisis hasn't gone away. Energy bills, rent, food, all still expensive. And if your salary hasn't kept pace, you're effectively getting a pay cut every year. So you need to negotiate. But here's what most people don't understand. This isn't just about you needing more money. It's about understanding what's happening on the other side of that table. Meet Alex. He's a senior leader who's been through hundreds of these conversations.
People walk in thinking I hold all of the cards. Truth is, I'm juggling budgets, trying to keep my entire team motivated, and answer to people above me who want costs down. I want to pay good people properly, but I also can't blow the budget on one person and create resentment across the team.
That's the tension. Your manager wants to keep you. They don't want to lose good people, but they've got constraints you can't see, which means the way you approach this conversation matters enormously. Before we get to what you say, let's talk about when you say it, because this is critical. Most companies provide their staff with annual or biannual reviews. That's generally the best time to be asking for a pay rise, and the details of this should be in your employment contract. Providing your work has been satisfactory, you might expect to move up a band. If that's the case, your negotiation might be an argument to move up an extra band. To do that, you'll have needed to prove you've merited that over the course of the year. So, if you work for a company that's structured around pay bands and annual appraisals, asking for a raise outside of this time frame is irregular and unlikely to be well received, unless your work in that period has been exceptional. But if you work for a company that's more casual in its approach, then you have more leeway to be equally flexible in your approach. If that's your scenario, strike when your stock is highest, not when you're desperate, not when you've just messed something up, when you've recently delivered something visible and valuable. Now let's think about your opening gambit.
I need to speak with you about my salary. I know it's only been 6 months since my last review, but my rent's gone up and I'm really struggling financially.
Stop. That's need-based. It makes your manager feel guilty, not impressed. They're thinking, that's not my problem to solve. Here's the other timing issue. Once you get a raise, you're unlikely to get another for at least 12 months. So don't rush in. If the company's about to close its financial year, or if they're waiting on a big contract that will free up funds, wait. You want maximum leverage. That means timing it when your recent work is visible and valued. The company is in a position to say yes, you've got options, even if you're not actively looking elsewhere. You can't negotiate if you don't know what you're worth, and worth isn't what you think you deserve. It's what the market pays for what you do. Do your homework, check salary surveys for your role, your industry, and importantly, your location. Talk to recruiters. Look at job ads for similar positions. You need data.
When someone comes to me with market data, comparable roles at similar companies are paying X to Y, I take that seriously. It's professional, it's researched. I can take that to my boss. When someone says, I feel like I should be on more, that's just feelings.
Right. You're building a business case, not making an emotional appeal. So, if you work for a company with pay bands, the central question is, are you delivering at a faster rate than the bands expect you to? And here's something many people miss. Think about your value to your employer. What would it cost them to replace you? Recruitment fees, onboarding time, lost productivity, lost relationships with clients or stakeholders. If replacing you would cost them 3 months of disruption and $20,000 in fees, suddenly a £5,000 raise looks cheap. That's your leverage. Don't use it as a threat, but know it's there. Right, the actual conversation. There's a structure to this. Let's use a framework that negotiation experts recommend. When you open, frame it positively, not "I'm unhappy with my pay, and if you work as part of a team, definitely not. I know Harry is being paid more than me." Instead, something like this: "I'd like to discuss my salary in the light of my contributions." Next is anchor, where you state your case. This is where your research and recent wins come in, but if your recent wins were simply what was expected of you, that's just doing your job. So where did you go above and beyond expectations? The next part is critical and often the most challenging. Anchor realistically high. Let's suppose Debbie is currently on 50,000. Her last increment was 5,000, so she might reasonably expect 55,000, but she knows she's done great and believes she's worth more. The beyond her wildest dreams of what she could expect is 65,000. Should she go in and ask for 60,000 or go all out for the unrealistic 65? Here's what she did.
I want to talk about my salary, Alex. Over the past 6 months, I've delivered the Morrison project ahead of schedule and brought in 2 new clients worth £150,000 annually. I've also taken on the team lead responsibilities. I've researched comparable roles, and the market range is 55 to 65k. Given my performance and expanded scope, I'd like to move to 62k.
See her strategy. Significant achievements, market data, clear number. By asking for 62,000, she might just get it. Worst case, they agree on 60,000. Now, should she have gone in at 65k? Possibly, if she truly is setting the place on fire, but unless she's the linchpin of the operation, that might just make her manager defensive. So, a realistic self-review always helps. Let's assume Debbie isn't quite there yet. The next part is equally critical. Listen, let them respond. Don't fill the silence. They might say yes, they might explain budget constraints, they might counter-offer. This is where understanding Alex's perspective matters.
If someone's done the work, brought me data, tied it to performance, is not taking the "I want to find a way," but I might not be able to do exactly what they're asking right now. Maybe I can do part of it now, part in 3 months. Maybe we can add benefits. There's usually something.
Step 4 is propose. This is where you explore options. If they can't hit your number, what else is on the table? Performance bonus tied to clear targets, additional holiday, training budget, flexible working arrangements, title change that positions you better for future moves, or maybe a phased increase with part now and part in 6 months after a review. Don't accept the first no, but also don't be rigid.
The people who negotiate well are the ones who understand I'm not the enemy. We're trying to find something that works. If they're reasonable and professional, I'll work with them. If they're aggressive or entitled, I'm less motivated to stretch.
Which brings us to the close. Get it in writing. If they've agreed to something, confirm it. Just to make sure I've understood correctly, we've agreed 60,000 starting from January, with a review in 6 months and a leadership training course. Can you confirm that in an email, please? Don't leave the room without clarity on what happens next. So remember the framework. Open, anchor, listen, propose, and close, or OALPC. Sometimes, despite doing everything right, the answer is no, or it's not right now. That's when you need to ask, what would it take? I understand the budget constraints. What would I need to achieve over the next 6 months for us to revisit this? Get specifics, turn it into a clear target, then deliver on it.
Okay, I understand. So, if I deliver the 3 objectives we've discussed by June, we'll revisit the salary conversation then?
Exactly. I respect that. It shows they're serious and they're willing to earn it.
And if the answer is still no, if there's genuinely no path forward, that's information. Maybe this company can't pay market rate. Maybe they don't value you the way they should. At that point, you've got a choice to make, but at least you'll make it with your eyes open, which is why you should always know what you're worth elsewhere, even if you're happy where you are.
So there you have it. Timing, research, evidence, and consider your manager's perspective. Nail those and you're already 90% ahead of most. On Thursday, we're exploring why companies are hiring AI whisperers, and they're definitely well paid.